What is up, you guys? Today we're going to be doing a little work on the old 6.0 Power Stroke. I got a number 6. It's throwing a contribution code, and it's throwing a low injector circuit, and it does it over and over again no matter how many times I delete the code. And I can unplug that injector while it's running and it does not do it. So today we're going to change that injector and we're going to see if it stops missing. I hope it does. I really do. Which sometimes, like if I'm going down the road, like sometimes it'll stop missing. For some odd reasons in the mornings, like early in the mornings when it's really cold, usually when I start it up it won't miss. And then it gets hot, or if I start driving it a lot, it'll start missing. So I don't know about that. I assume it's a spool valve or something sticking in it, but we're fixing to find out. So we got to unplug the battery, we got to take the intake off, we got to take the degas bottle off. I don't think that's not going to come off. We got to take the valve cover off, and we got to take the oil rail off. Oh, the fickum, don't forget the fickum. We got to take the little fickum off. Now mind you, I've not had this truck very long, so I don't know what it looks like down beneath, but I do know it's studded, and I'm assuming it's ARP studded considering it's got an ARP sticker. Sorry about that, my camera was trying to go on the fritz for some reason. But anyways, enough talking, and we're going to get to tearing this thing apart. So I won't be able to hold the camera while I do stuff and take stuff off because I don't have a stand or anything right now, but all the stuff's pretty straightforward and I'll keep y'all updated, so I'll be back. Okay, so stupid thing, I don't have nothing to go on the thing that keeps falling over. Just sit right there. Okay, my degas bottle was a little harder than usual to get off, but we got her after we made a little bit of a mess, but no biggie, nothing, a little brake clean up. So, I'm actually sitting right over a drain hole, so it's not gonna matter that much. That won't be bugging us. That's a little hot. But anywho, so the pretty much how all this comes off is this slips on to this, which we still got to take this off, the rest of this intake, and then the air filter slips on the end of it, which you got to take the battery off first, of course. Degas bottle, and then, assuming that this was already off, the fickum, which I think is usually 3 bolts. This is hard to do right here. Light up. Fickum, 2 bolts on the front, 1 on the back. And after you take that off, the valve cover is a little tricky on like their bolt pattern because they got like a lot of bolts in it, but it's not really that bad. The hardest bolt is back there in between that and the firewall. That's kind of a squeeze, but no step for a stepper. So let's get to it. So I just want to show you all this real quick. It's not really rocket science, but if you got in a hurry and you wasn't paying attention, I guess you could miss it. But when you take the thingy that holds the fickum on, this thing right here, it bolts up on the same bolts that hold the valve covers on. So in turns, obviously they'll be the only bolts that's got a stud on them with a nut on top of them, but you want to make sure and remember where them bolts go back, or your fickum's not going to bolt up in the same spot and you'll probably be taking bolts back out and switching them around. So I just wanted to show you all that real quick. There'll be one right there, and I think there's supposed to be one back there, but mine was missing the nut, and there's one down there. So 4. Okay guys, so got the valve cover off. Like I said, the hardest bolt for that is right back there between that firewall. That's kind of a booger, but it's not too bad. So on this, try not to like like mine's got that fiberglass crap up there. Try not to drop any of that. So like when you get it off, try not to brush against it or anything, or put something over it like a plastic bag or something. But now, after you get the valve cover off, I'll hold it right here. This has got bolts my truck's still a little hot, ever so often. Take that off and be really easy with the oil rail and just pull the oil rail off, and ours is number 6. So it'll be right here. And there'll be well, I'll show y'all that when I get the oil rail off, but there'll be like a hold down thing right here, and you just pull that bolt out. And I think it's a hex, but I'm not for sure. And the injector should thump out after you take that off, of course. Okay guys, it's the next morning. We ran into a little hiccup last night. So what happened is, I'm assuming it was about stripped out anyways because I didn't put very much power on it at all. This bolt, that one, if you can see that or not, that one way back there. This one right here, and I think this one. So yeah, there's 4 of them. Sorry, my camera's on the fritz for some reason. There's 4 of them that stripped out. So I went and got. Anyways, guys, I don't know what's wrong with my camera. It keeps saying the battery's dead, and it's at 65%. But anywho, so I got a 1/4-20 tap. I found a trusty old YouTube. This guy had the same exact problem, and I think on one of the same bolts. Okay guys, so I got all the, oh come on, God. I got all the bolts that needed tapped. There's quite a few of them actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them. So we're fixing to throw the valve cover gasket on there and put the valve cover back on and put the fecum on it, and then we're going to crank her up. I wish I could have did it a little more detailed, but like I said, I don't have a stand or anything to hold the camera, so this was best I could do on it. But this is really, it's not that hard, but obviously you got to watch like how tight you get your bolts and stuff. It's best just to torque them down to spec. That way, even if it does strip out, you know it wasn't your fault. So I'll be back and we'll do a startup. Okay, you guys, sorry for the late response, but we got it back together. Dang, it's dark over here. Hang on just a second. But we got it back together. Some of this stuff, like when I got this truck, that all needs bolted back up because they got one bolt right there and it doesn't even fit, and they ain't got no bolts up there. But everything else bolts up good, and I need to figure out where I can find one of them. Not for sure about that, but anywho, I really wish I could have done a better, like a more detailed video and watch y'all how I took everything apart, or y'all watch how I took everything apart. But I just didn't have the bipod, and I'm kind of new to this whole YouTube thing, so I'm figuring everything out. So y'all just have to bear with me. But like I said, pretty much, I mean, it's not that hard. It's not like rocket science to change an injector. If you've done somewhat of mechanical work and you know how stuff goes and bolts and stuff, and you got this. But main thing is, don't drop no dirt down around your valves or anything like that. Make sure make sure you don't drop any bolts down in the hole where you pull the injector out before you put the new one in. And make sure you clean off around the gasket before you put the new one on and stuff like that. And I mean, if you didn't like take it apart, had a problem, had to take it right back apart, if you don't know how long it's been took apart, I highly suggest change the valve cover gasket, because them suckers will more than likely always leak if you put the old one back on and they've got a few miles on them. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty easy. But anyways, we're gonna start it up and let y'all listen to it. It don't miss. I'm fixing to put the computer on it to make sure it's not still throwing the contribution code. I mean, it shouldn't, but we're just gonna make sure anyways. Oh, don't you hit that door. My belt squeaks a little bit. Y'all have to ignore that. I have to change that thing. I dropped some antifreeze on it. It's been squeaking ever since for some reason. That's it. We'll be back with the computer in just a second. Okie doke, it's reading everything, getting her ready to go. Cooling fan one. No, I got a lot of codes, so I knew all that was bad. Glow plugs, that's the reason it's kind of hard to start in the mornings. Turbo, I don't know where that's coming from. Water and fuel, I probably know where that's coming from. No contribution codes though, that's a plus. Really good plus, but that's it.